I'm Amy Renz, CEO and founder of Goodness Gracious. We're a small batch handcrafter of human grade meals and treats for dogs and cats based in Massachusetts. Goodness Gracious was founded by me almost 15 years ago. I own and operate the company. We have no reliance on outside money. No big kibble or private equity outfit tells us what to do. We call our own shots. When I'm not out connecting with pet parents at stores or educational events, I'm in our manufacturing facility. I see, smell, touch, hear, and sometimes taste practically everything. We are a licensed and inspected human food facility. We're on both Susan Thixton's and Dr. Judy Morgan's lists of approved pet food. To develop our classic diets, which came out in late 2021, we partnered with these brilliant minds. You'll recognize four amazing holistic veterinarians and Steve Brown, widely known as the godfather of raw. We have an integrative approach to making food. Some ingredients are steamed and some are left raw. Our meats, organs, eggs, and veggies are each steamed separately to their unique, safe internal temperature. This enables us to achieve food safety while maintaining the optimal nutritional integrity of each ingredient. We rapidly chill these ingredients and then combine them with raw fruits, sprouts, seeds, and healthy fats. We have never, ever purchased a synthetic ingredient, additive, or fortified ingredient. We make 100% whole food diets that are high protein, moderate fat, and low carb with a glycemic load of 1. I'd like to dive in today by talking for a quick 5 minutes on the model we use to formulate all our foods to address the unique needs of today's domestic dogs. The best way to evaluate pet food is how human nutritionists look at human food. They look at where the calories come from. Protein plus fat plus net carbohydrate equals 100% of calories. Net carb, or digestible carb, refers to total carbohydrate less the fiber. Fiber, ash, and moisture might be on a pet food label's guaranteed analysis, but they have no calories. Many highly regarded pet food formulators consider the ancestral diet model the gold standard for the general population of dogs. It says that on a caloric basis, our dogs' wild ancestors consumed 49% of their calories from protein, 44% from fat, and roughly 7% from carbohydrates. Many raw and freeze-dried dog food manufacturers claim to make ancestral diets, but very few are actually achieving that 49% protein standard. I speak often with parents, pet health coaches, and veterinarians at events and in online forums on the challenges our domestic dogs face that their wild ancestors did not, and what this means for diets that drive health span. To boil an hour into one slide, I would say this. One of the biggest challenges our dogs face that their wild ancestors did not is being deconditioned, not having a good muscle to fat ratio in their bodies. Epigenetic transgenerational inheritance of the propensity to be fat is a real thing. It's fueled by generations of ultra processed diets, lack of exercise, stress, and a rising level of toxins in our food, our water supply, and our environment. Nearly 60% of dogs are fat and getting fatter. And this epidemic is driven significantly by the diets of our dogs' parents, grandparents, great grandparents, and so on. It has to be counteracted by the diets our dogs eat today. It is our belief that the protein requirements of modern dogs are higher than their wild ancestors because modern dogs are spayed and neutered, and estrogen and testosterone are powerful promoters of muscle mass, strength, and function. Also, as any body ages, it needs more protein, not less, because of hormonal and GI changes that make it harder to digest dietary proteins and to absorb and assimilate amino acids into the body's proteins and to build muscle. This is why we like higher protein levels than the ancestral model. Our range starts at 49% and goes up to 59%. As for fats and carbs, wolves live 20 plus years on average, and the larger they are, the longer they live. Domestic dogs live 10.6 years on average, And the larger they are, the shorter their lifespan. Why? Wolves exist intact by natural selection, survival of the fittest. Dogs exist by artificial selection. We breed a curated population of them because we want them. We desex or destroy most of the rest. What's the result of this natural versus artificial selection? Well, studies find that wolves have antioxidant generating superpowers. Our dogs do not. Our dogs accumulate lipid damage. Domestic dogs are different than their wild ancestors on a cellular level, especially as it pertains to dietary fats and antioxidant needs. Those antioxidants come from plants and mushrooms and whole food sources of vitamin E, which is a far more stable and powerful protector against the oxidation of dietary fats and protective of the body's fat, nerve, and liver tissues than factory made vitamin E. High saturated fat diets are arguably as damaging as high carbohydrate ones. Why? It's widely known, though perhaps not fully understood, that prolonged diets high in saturated fats, especially the palmitic and stearic acids found in animal fats, causes insulin resistance, and this is a gateway to chronic disease. This dysfunction can be epigenetically inherited by future generations, too. These diets can also result in addictive type behaviors like overeating. This is why we like more conservative approaches to fats at roughly 35% to 44% of total daily calories. Now let's look at carbs. Like our dogs, the beneficial microbes in our gut have species appropriate nutrition. Their ideal food comes from plants and mushrooms. They digest fiber and beneficial bioactive compounds like sulforaphane, I3C, quercetin, and ergothioneine found in plants and mushrooms. The bioactive metabolites are then transported throughout our bodies to help us with many metabolic, immune, and detox processes, and to prevent the dysregulation and overexpression of genes responsible for the uncontrolled cellular proliferation and viability of various types of cancer cells. And we are learning that these anti cancerous epigenetic benefits can be inherited by future generations. We want to know why 1 in 2 dogs over 10 get cancer. A powerful reason is that they're not consuming plants. Of the 8.65 million tons of ingredients that go into pet food, green leafy vegetables make up 0.05%. When we look at the whole picture of a high protein, moderate fat diet for our domestic dogs, plants and fungi play a necessary role. They are the source of the antioxidants that protect the body from lipid damage and oxidative stress. Carotenoids in vegetables are alkalizing, counteracting the acidifying effects of high protein diets. Some veggies, like asparagus, lower uremic toxins that can accumulate from fat and protein digestion. Short chain fatty acids are another metabolite of a healthy gut microbiome. Short chain fatty acids benefit practically every metabolic, immune, vascular, and neurologic function in the body. They're supportive of the gut, brain, healthy blood flow, and the formation of muscle over fat. Plus, plants and mushrooms enable us to achieve optimal nutrition without synthetics. We like the ancestral range of 3% to 12% of total daily calories coming from carb, with a vast preference for low glycemic choices. This epigenetic canine diet model is a design we used for the classic diets that you know and love, and drum roll, the design for our new restorative line. We have Rejuve for gut health, Jive for brain health, Reveal for metabolic health, and Jing for kidney health. For our restorative diets, we circled back with those amazing minds who helped us with our classic formulas, including holistic veterinarians Dr. Susan Recker and Dr. Ruth Roberts. We also broadened our reach to Rita Hogan, one of the most brilliant and gifted Western canine herbalists, and fungi phenom Angela Ardolino. Let's start off where it all begins, the gut. Packed with antioxidants and anti inflammatory ingredients, Rejuve is designed to heal leaky gut and reduce the oxidative stress and the cascade of inflammation and immune imbalance it perpetuates, like cancer, arthritis, hypersensitivities, and more. If you look at the back of our bags, you'll see listed some key indications for the diet. For Rejuve, we've listed leaky, irritable, or compromised gut function, detoxification, immune modulation, mobility and energy, microbiome support, oxidative stress, and lowering glycemic load. Some pet foods claim to support sensitive stomachs or the gut. Many are high in either starch or fat, though, which is inflammatory to the gut. Most are also loaded with synthetics. Overall, the methodology to treat GI distress employed by most of our competitors seems to be plug the dog up. Our goals are different. We want to increase the population of anti inflammatory gut microbes that make short chain fatty acids. This will heal the gut wall and support just about every metabolic, vascular, immune, and brain related function in the body. We want to calm the immune system, stimulate digestive enzymes, detoxify, support the vagus nerve, which is the main highway of the gut brain axis. So, to do that, we use a number of ingredients at therapeutic levels. For gut health, here are our main players. We often think of calendula for wounds. It's healing to the gut wall in the same way it is to skin wounds. It also stimulates lymphatics and digestive secretions. Plantain leaf supports glycocalyx, a sticky substance that helps commensal bacteria adhere to the gut wall. It boosts the replication of healthy gut lining cells and mucus. Organic shiitake and oyster mushrooms work synergistically to aid digestive enzymes, detoxification, immune and metabolic health, and vagus nerve activity. Organic broccoli sprouts are packed with sulforaphane, a powerful antioxidant, and mung bean sprouts are shown to have anti tumor properties. Spinach is a crazy good anti cancer and longevity booster. It's gut food, brain food, muscle food, metabolic food, served lightly cooked in fresh food with sufficient dietary calcium. Oxalate risks are largely mitigated. Plums and bilberries are like supercharged blueberries, plus the fiber in plums supports the gut. Pork sirloin and liver are energetically neutral, lean, and loaded with zinc, B vitamins, and selenium, which are protective of joints, thyroid, immune, and enzymatic functions everywhere in the body. And the B3 can help with the formation of NAD, which is a substance that helps good anti aging intracellular communication. Notice the Icelandic small fish and fish oil for vitamin D and omega 3s, which are supportive of a healthy gut, metabolism, immune, vascular, and nerve functions. Most dogs are deficient in both these nutrients. Every ingredient in every food we make serves a purpose. In Rejuve, our ingredients create an anti inflammatory therapeutic recipe for gut health that's complete and balanced without the use of synthetics. On a caloric basis, it's 54% protein, 40% fat, and 5% carb. Next up, Jive. Mood, cognition, and behavioral disorders impact health and lifespan. It's a huge driver of end of life decisions. Chronic unresolved anxiety puts a body at risk for adrenal dysfunction, which impacts the gut, brain, and kidneys. It promotes the breakdown of muscle and the formation of fat. It leads to systemic inflammation and increased dementia risk. When pet parents have a dog with a behavioral disorder, they often overlook the gut and reach to a trainer or a drug like Prozac, which affects serotonin levels, or gabapentin, which affects GABA levels. Both serotonin and GABA are neurotransmitters tightly regulated by the gut. Our goal with this diet is to combine key proteins, organic herbs, sprouts, fruits, vegetables, and adaptogenic mushrooms in a way that improves serotonin, balances glucose, lowers histamine, supports the nervous and immune systems, and regenerates nerve fibers, leading to improved quality of life. Finding a competitor for Jive is a challenge. There are a few diets that claim to be indicated for either the nervous system in general or anxiety, but they can be high in fat or carb, which is undesirable in our opinion. Synthetic chelated copper can be found in some diets marketed for anxiety, but chelated copper is problematic. It is known to cause anxiety, hyperactivity, insomnia, and excitability because it converts dopamine to adrenaline in a dose dependent manner. Our rationale behind Jive is to heal and nourish the brain by supporting the gut brain axis and by improving blood flow. There are neurologic and vascular components to this approach. The gut brain axis is this bidirectional communication link between our gut and our brain. It refers to how our gut and what we put into it affects cognition, mood, or behavior, and how our brain affects the behavior of our digestive system. The vagus nerve is a neurologic highway between the gut and the brain, running from the brainstem to the abdomen. 90% of the traffic along the vagus nerve goes from the gut to the brain. Only 10% is the brain telling our gut what to do. The vagus nerve communication system regulates stress, depression, anxiety, how we calm down after trauma, cognition, and also the immune system because it relates to inflammation. The gut is comprised of about 50 to 100 million neurons. As many brain cells are in the spinal cord as are in the gut. Here's an example of the gut brain axis. 95% of serotonin is made and stored in the gut. It's made by microbes that eat plants and mushrooms in our diet. Serotonin is picked up by receptors on cells that it regulates sleep, pain perception, sensitivity to stress, mood, and overall well-being. Its activation and utilization is mediated by the process of inflammation. As for the vascular system, oxygen and glucose are fuel for the brain. The brain makes up about 2 to 4% of body mass, but accounts for about 20% of oxygen and 50% of glucose needs. Because the brain can't store glucose and oxygen, it depends on the bloodstream to deliver a constant supply of these fuels. The vascular system is comprised of blood and lymph vessels. It circulates nutrients, oxygen, carbon dioxide, hormones, and glucose. It provides nourishment, fights disease, stabilizes body temperature, maintains homeostasis, and carries off waste. There are tiny blood vessels that dead end in the center of the brain. They're fragile, and damage to them is permanent. When enough of these vessels are damaged, we can begin to see problems like mild deficits and recall, symptoms we typically associate with aging. Continued damage manifests as lack of motivation and interest, mobility problems, and poor bladder control. As damage progresses, impulsivity, planning, and multitasking issues develop. So, what causes damage to these tiny blood vessels in the brain? It's almost always high blood sugar, high blood pressure, or high cholesterol. And generally, where we have one, we have the others. In bodies with chronic kidney disease, the damage is further accelerated. Sleep plays a pivotal role in the development of dementia. How? The lymphatic system is the lymphatic system of the brain. One of its main jobs is to carry away waste. This process is mostly done at night during sleep. When we don't sleep well, toxins accumulate and beta amyloid plaques develop, which damage the brain and are thought to be a leading contributor to dementia. Although largely asymptomatic, we know that in humans, this small vessel disease long term is responsible for about half of all dementia cases. Studies show that cognitive dysfunction in dogs can begin around 6 years old. So, for brain health, we reach to things like organic skullcap, leaf, and flower. They're neurologic relaxants and can correct fear and excitement imbalances and relieve tension and stress. Nettle leaf works on the adrenals, kidneys, and nervous system. It regulates serotonin, cortisol, and histamines. Organic lion's mane mushrooms and reishi mushroom extract reduce anxiety and stress. They protect and regenerate nerve fibers and aid in the gut brain axis. Kale is a nutritional king. It contains powerful polyphenols and B9 and B6, which decrease homocysteine, an inflammatory molecule that damages blood vessels. These components also help the brain produce serotonin and dopamine and improve nitric oxide levels, which is a neurotransmitter like substance that improves healthy blood flow of oxygen rich blood. Turkey and turkey liver are rich in tryptophan, which the body uses to make serotonin. Organic sprouted almonds and cantaloupe are rich in inositol, which regulates serotonin and insulin levels. Human studies have linked inositol to reductions in tension, fatigue, panic, depression, and hostility, and improvements in blood sugar control. Organic sprouted almonds are also an excellent whole food source of vitamin E. Organic artichokes' high prebiotic and antioxidant content supports the gut brain axis and phase 1 and phase 2 liver detoxification. And red bell peppers are loaded with vitamin B6, which increases the levels of serotonin and norepinephrine, aka the happy hormones, and reduces homocysteine to improve blood flow to the brain. With those ingredients, we create a therapeutic diet that supports cognition, balanced mood, and healthy behavior that's complete and balanced without synthetics. Calorically, it's 53% protein, 42% fat, and 4% carb. Next up, reveal. Obesity, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and liver disease are targeted by Reveal. It's an excellent diet for dogs battling cancer, too. Organic mushrooms, sprouts, and herbs help regulate blood sugar, insulin, and lipids, improve gut, metabolic, and immune function, detoxify, aid cellular defense against oxidative stress, the root of chronic disease, too. Most competing brands make metabolic health claims by trading fats for carbs or vice versa, and then claim the diet is low glycemic or low fat. But there's nothing therapeutic about that approach. Some diets marketed as hepatic friendly even contain synthetic copper chelates, which are recognized by many pet health experts as being damaging to the liver. Our approach with metabolic health is multifaceted. Most metabolic dysfunction happens because of prolonged exposure to high carb, high fat, or ultra processed diets, which cause insulin resistance, inflammation, and a cascade of dysfunction. Most commercially available raw food is high in fat and deficient in vegetable matter, which sets many raw fed dogs up for disease by the time they're middle aged. To get at the root of metabolic dysfunction, we need to heal the gut, detox the body, reduce inflammation, and get blood sugar, insulin, cholesterol, and bile acids under control. To do that, we use these ingredients: nettles, which we talked about, plus cilantro and burdock root, which are detoxifying. They regulate blood sugar, stimulate digestive enzymes, aid in lymphatic drainage, and help the body process fats and oils. They're supportive of the kidneys, liver, heart, gut, and nerves. Organic maitake mushrooms contain over 47 medicinal bioactive polysaccharides, the most abundant of which are beta glucans, that can combat metabolic syndrome, obesity, and improve gut health. Organic sprouted sunflower seeds are an excellent source of vitamin E and other beneficial cofactors. We use organic, locally sourced broccoli sprouts, which we talked about, plus organic dandelion greens and Swiss chard, which have strong antioxidant and cholesterol lowering properties. They protect the liver, improve lipid and carbohydrate metabolism, and lower blood pressure, blood sugar, and the formation of ages in the body. Asparagus improves insulin action and bile acid excretion, which aids digestion and nutrient absorption and glutathione production. Glutathione is the mother antioxidant in the body. Mm. Okra has insulin like properties, prebiotic pectin, and other fibers that can help stabilize blood sugar and cholesterol. Antioxidants in okra inhibit the growth of certain cancers. Wild caught pollock is low in saturated fat and is more than 10 times the omega 3s than cod. And cage free eggs have 7 grams of protein and only 75 calories and the full range of amino acids. They're loaded with disease fighting carotenoids like lutein and zeaxanthin and are one of the richest whole food sources of choline, which supports the pancreas, liver, neuromuscular function, metabolism, cognition, and the structural integrity and signaling of every cell in the body. Choline also helps remove cholesterol from the liver, making eggs supportive of good cholesterol levels. And eggs are also low in phosphorus, which is great for struggling kidneys. And kidney health can start to play in when metabolic dysfunction progresses. Like every recipe we make, our ingredient choices in Reveal are purposeful and work synergistically together to deliver a balanced and complete food without synthetics that supports metabolic health. In this recipe, 56% of the calories come from protein, 40% come from fat, and only 3% from carb. And lastly, Jing. It's reported that 1 in 10 dogs develops renal dysfunction in their lifetime. That number is arguably higher. Why? Canine health mirrors human health. 50% of humans over the age of 70 have chronic kidney disease, and 9 out of 10 of us with early to mid stage kidney disease are not told we have it. Veterinarians check blood pressure in cats to sniff out chronic kidney disease, but that test is rarely done in dogs. Ultra processed, high carb, high fat, synthetic laden diets are a risk factor for chronic kidney disease. Synthetic phosphorus and choline are particularly damaging to blood vessels, which is the gateway to chronic kidney disease. Jing is a low phosphorus, high protein, 100% whole food, and it's supercharged with phytonutrients. It's specially formulated to slow the progression of early to mid stage chronic kidney disease. Protein protects muscle from the wasting effects of chronic kidney disease. Key plants tone the kidneys, and low phosphorus reduces kidney burden. Phosphorus is tough for kidneys to clear, so reducing phosphorus is a key element in any renal diet. A reduced phosphorus canine diet is one with phosphorus at or under 0.5% on a dry matter basis, which means that it's not a complete and balanced food. Most renal diets lower phosphorus by lowering protein and stop there. They then throw in too much fat or a boatload of carbs in the diet for calories, but the carbs cause inflammation and the production of kidney damaging agents. The excess fat causes gut barrier dysfunction, which leads to the generation of uremic toxins. Excess dietary fat in a body struggling with metabolic dysfunction, like chronic kidney disease, promotes the formation of ALS and 7-keto cholesterol, which are lipid molecules that promote age related disease and dysfunction, including dementia. To top it off, they balance the diet with kidney damaging synthetics like choline. Chronic kidney disease is a brutal disease that generally makes dogs feel awful. Chronic kidney disease develops when the nephrons, the microscopic filters in the kidneys, have been damaged by a lack of blood flow and can no longer filter blood effectively. Toxins build up, which damage the kidneys, nerves, and brain. Those toxins cause imbalances in the gut microbiome and promote systemic cellular injury that leads to a destruction of muscle fibers. Kidneys regulate blood pressure because they regulate sodium in water, so hypertension can develop or worsen, causing more blood vessel damage. Bodies can have vitamin D and calcium problems because vitamin D is activated in the kidneys. Bodies can become anemic because erythropoietin, the hormone that signals the formation of blood vessels, is made in the kidneys. Anemia means less oxygen to the brain and the muscles, furthering damage to those tissues. Bodies can become acidic because the kidneys are in charge of acid-base balance. This is why adequate cruciferous non-starchy veggies and a few fruits are super important because they're alkalizing and can counteract this acidity. And blood sugar problems can worsen because the kidneys are the main site for synthesizing glucose from amino acids at a rate that rivals the liver. So these are all key areas a good kidney diet should address. For kidney health, our ingredient choices are more limited because we have to be mindful of phosphorus. We talked about eggs already. It's our primary protein source. We use egg whites because they're high in protein but low in phosphorus, and whole eggs in limited quantities so that we can get the choline without too much phosphorus. In addition to eggs, we're using pork kidney because it's a lean, nutrient dense, low phosphorus protein source inspired by the principle of like heals like. Ginger root, marshmallow root, and blackberry leaf strengthen and tone the kidneys, reduce age formation and free radicals, and protect epithelial cells. Asparagus, we talked about, but it can also aid in blood flow, lower blood pressure, reduce uremic toxins, and aid in kidney detoxification. These are key ways of combating chronic kidney disease. Red cabbage makes our food blue. It's jammed with anthocyanins and sulforaphane, which protect against oxidative stress. Prebiotic fiber in red cabbage supports a healthy gut microbiome, which is compromised in chronic kidney disease. Organic wheat germ oil is an amazing phosphorus-free whole food source of vitamin E. Carotenoids in carrots prevent the oxidation of fats, which would damage the kidneys and blood vessels. Oysters are nature's highest source of zinc and copper, and when sourced properly, are one of the purest seafoods mercury wise. And Icelandic mackerel is rich in vitamin D and omega 3s and other nutrients that reduce oxidative stress and boost immune function, DNA replication, and glutathione production. It all comes together in a therapeutic diet for kidney health that, except for phosphorus, meets all the AFCO requirements for a complete and balanced diet without synthetics. And best yet, it achieves 0.4% phosphorus on a dry matter basis while still providing a whopping 45% protein, the highest protein we've seen by far in any kidney diet. Our research shows that this diet even has more protein than most high end raw foods. In this recipe, fat comes in at a healthy 41% of calories and carb at only 14%. There's a lot of functional medicine in these diets, and thankfully, there's a wonderful guide on the back of the bag. Here's a snapshot on the back of Jive's bag explaining the therapeutic purpose of many of the core ingredients. AFCO nutritional profiles are based on the needs of active dogs. Dogs who consume fewer calories than active dog guidelines are at a risk for nutrient deficiencies. To complicate matters, many manufacturers publish feeding guidelines that are at the resting energy requirement, which is the baseline caloric needs to ensure life support. Picture comatose dogs. They most likely do this to make their foods look less expensive to feed. Pet foods that are high in carbs or fats make matters worse. Many fail to meet the minimum protein needs of adult dogs when fed according to serving suggestions or a little bit under it. That minimum amount established by AFCO is roughly 18% of daily calories from protein. This is especially problematic when dogs experience inappetence due to age or sickness. Juve, Rejive, Reveal, as well as Jing, with the obvious exception of phosphorus levels in Jing, are nutritionally enhanced. This means they each provide ample nutrition even when serving portions are reduced by 25% to 30%. And for the record, our feeding guidelines are based on the widely accepted veterinary formula for the caloric needs of dogs, not marketing hype. And here is an amazing nutritional statement that you can find on the side panel of each of our bags that actually makes sense to real people. We list the required as-fed values, plus we translate those into more meaningful and easily understood caloric values and dry matter values. Please pause this presentation for a moment if you can and take a picture of this cheat sheet. It shows how to convert a guaranteed analysis into a caloric analysis for the food you're currently feeding. These steps are simple and the guide is easy to follow. Please feel free to share this guide with your fellow pet moms and dads too. Understanding the protein, fat, and carbohydrate caloric makeup of what our pet kids eat is perhaps the single most important thing we can do as pet parents to support their health span. Lastly, all of our restorative diets can be fed as full meals, mix-ins, or toppers. They also can be fed continuously long term. The herbs and mushrooms are safe for long term use. Some dogs may need to be on certain diets for a while. Older dogs, for example, may benefit cognitively from having jive as part of their regular rotation. Kidney dogs generally need to be on a kidney diets for their duration. Our intent, however, is to help heal dogs, so parents can feed these diets short term to correct problems like gut imbalances, obesity, or behavioral problems. And oh, yeah, our packaging. It's made from 100% post consumer recycled material, so it's healthy for the planet too. Thank you for listening and taking such amazing care of your family.